Okay, where we are with Andrew Sully, Andrew Mark Sully. Crowded River is the short film played at the Horror Festival. We've also showed a film of his in the past, The Dam, which is more of a romance horror film, which is a pretty cool
Mm.
film. This one's how would you describe this one? Straight up horror?
Well, I think this is more like a thriller,
Yeah,
more like a slow
crime thriller, I
burn.
guess.
Yeah, horror thriller, perhaps.
Yeah. Do you always work in these genres though, like in the horror kind of genre?
No, not at all. No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I make a lot of documentaries too.
Oh, okay.
And I've made some quite a few nature documentaries, which you could call horror documentaries,
Yeah.
because I made quite a few things on the Tasmanian devil, which could be a horror animal.
Is the Tasmanian devil only in Tasmania? And it's the island
Yes.
that people don't know, the island in Australia, right? Like in the south.
It's yeah, it's an island below Australia called Tasmania. It's a very beautiful but kind of a dark place. It's got species there that don't exist anywhere else. There was a Tasmanian wolf or tiger, sorry, Tasmanian tiger that went extinct, but there is a devil that's still around.
It was famous in the cartoon realm, right? Back
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
day.
yeah. Warner
Yeah,
Brothers. Yeah.
yeah. That's how I
Kaz
learned
the
about
devil.
it. But
Yeah.
the great thing about that was is that when I was a kid, I'm like, "What's Tasmanian devil? What is that?" And then I
Yeah.
got to learn it was like the island in Australia. Do you guys call provinces in Australia?
States.
States. Okay, so it's one of the
Yeah.
states in Australia, and it was like an island, and it's got this whole history itself, right? It's got this whole kind of rich history of, like you said, it's a dark place, but it's beautiful, and it's got its own little,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's got
perspective, right?
some beautiful wilderness there, but it was like most of Australia, a penal colony. And it was one of the worst ones, one of the most terrifying ones. And the uh, the worst uh, prison in the whole penal colony was on the west coast of Tasmania. But when the convicts used to escape, they'd run into the bush and they'd hear these wild screams and they'd basically turn themselves back in because they were so terrified of these creatures, which they eventually discovered were Tasmanian devils, which are kind of quite small and quite cute in a way, although they have very large, very tough jaws.
So
They
this
crack
is
through bone.
okay. So you're talking about like when the Brits, like I guess, took over
Yeah,
Australia and they brought all their prisoners there.
correct. Yes.
So, but there was people living there before the Brits took
Yeah,
over.
there was an indigenous population. There is an
Yeah,
indigenous population that was kind of brutally exterminated by the Brits and the convicts.
yeah.
But some of them survived, and there are still people living there, original people living there.
You learn a lot about that in Australia in school in Australia.
Not necessarily. No. You've got to do your own research, really, because they don't really necessarily celebrate all of the violent past of Australia's founding.
And how you're all spawned by criminals, basically, too, right?
Yeah, that's right. It's a giant prison island.
Yeah. Well, all like European whites are criminals, anyways, right? So we're all spawned by
Well,
criminals.
yeah, that's right. Well, some of the worst criminals weren't the criminals. Some of the worst criminals were the
Exactly.
people who came to take over the land.
Yeah. It's the whole white collar, blue collar thing. It still exists
Yeah,
today, right? So yeah,
that's right.
like who's
Exactly.
worse, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So speaking of wilderness, you like there's a lot of wilderness in this film, right? Like you even how it starts with this like the swan and the lake. So you kind of bring in wilderness into your live action films as well, I guess, too, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the one I made before this, The Dam, was really much also about the
Yeah.
landscape and the influence of the landscape and this sort of haunted, uh, haunted dam, you could say. And this one is really inspired by the landscape because we were staying in upstate New York, this incredible house overlooking a frozen river. and I happened to have a camera there and decided we should make a film just because this location was so incredible. And so we did that. We got some friends from New York to come up, a couple of actors, and we worked
Yeah.
out a scenario, a short scenario, and filmed it over a few days. And we really, I guess the theme was that this kind of environment itself was the sort of was this oppressive, um, potentially horrific influence on the actions of the people in this house.
Yeah. So
And
you're like
obviously, visually, we tried to, yeah, go on,
I was
sorry.
gonna say you're a professional like documentary filmmaker. What kind of motivates you to make these films? I'm just curious.
To make the shorts, to make drama films or any
Yeah,
film.
the shorts. Yeah, like you don't. I don't think you need to. Like, but like because you already have your own professional career as a documentarian. What kind of motivates you to make these type of films?
Well, I mean, originally I came from a drama background. So when I went to
Yeah,
film school, I made dramas. When I came out of film school, I made drama films. And then I sort of got into docos almost unintentionally, even though I love documentaries.
yeah,
And pretty much made a pretty good career out of that for many years. But I guess recently I was interested in getting back into exploring drama again. And and I guess because of my experience making documentaries, I'm quite able to make things by myself on a pretty low budget. Even though I've made some fairly big budget documentaries, often in the early days before you've got funding, you've got to go out
yeah.
and film yourself, shoot trailers, shoot reels, shoot sizzle reels. So I can kind of shoot and sound record and direct and produce and edit and do most things myself. So I just felt like, why not? And it's kind of fun and it's enjoyable.
That's pretty cool. So it's almost. I'm assuming you want to direct a feature film eventually.
Yeah, I'd like to. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Got a few ideas that I'm working on. Obviously,
That's
that's,
great.
yeah, that's the next
So
step,
tell
I
me about
guess.
so Max wrote this. Your collaborator Max Sheeran. He rewrote this script. He wrote this film.
Yeah, she's a she.
Oh,
Max is a she.
oh,
Um,
okay. Sorry, I apologize. Yeah.
that's right. That's all right. She's my partner and my collaborator, but she is a musician originally.
Okay.
She had a pop career many years ago, and she lives in New York mainly. I live in Sydney mainly, so we get together as often as we can, either in New York or here. And she's been working with some actors as part of a theatre group in New York City, and called Paradise Theatre. And they were around. It was around Christmas, and they were keen to come up and collaborate on a film. So we all got together and cooked up an idea. Max sort of had the structure, and then we did a bit of improvisation and made it over a few days.
That's cool. And so this is someone you worked with like in the past professionally?
Who's that?
Max.
Yeah. Well, kind of. I mean, we're together as partners. She's my long-term
Oh,
partner,
okay. Gotcha.
relate in a relationship.
That's quite the long distance relationship.
It is, but yeah. I mean, look, I've spent, we've spent years together, so
Yeah.
we're kind of like able to sustain certain periods of separation without too much trouble. But it's not that long that we're apart usually.
Yeah. Well,
Usually not longer than about 3 months.
I'm sure you've heard this joke before. Maybe that's why you're still together though, right? So
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
that's right. Yeah. There are some advantages in
Because the
having
whole
kind of
hemisphere, the distance of
absence,
hemisphere. I've heard some
some
long distance.
absence.
I've heard some long distance relationships. That's the longest one I've heard before. Like that's pretty.
Yeah, yeah,
What's in the middle
yeah.
between New York and Australia? Like what country
The
would be there?
Pacific Ocean, pretty
Yeah,
much.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Like what would we be in the middle?
yeah, maybe Hawaii.
I well, yeah, maybe. I guess yeah,
Yeah.
but that's closer for New York, I guess, right? Or yeah,
Yeah, maybe more like Tahiti.
yeah. So she's in the film
Yeah.
as well, right?
Yeah, she's got a brief cameo, yeah,
Yeah,
before she mysteriously disappears, potentially under the ice.
yeah. So tell me about the two main actors. Where did you find them?
Yeah, Ken and Joan are fantastic actors. They're New Yorkers. As I said, they are part of this theater group or theater company
Yeah,
called Paradise Studio Theater in the Lower East Side of New York. And I just met them, a few weeks before we made the film, but Max had known them for a while. And they were just terrific people and actors. So yeah, and they were really open to collaborate. So and we kind of wrote roles specifically for them, really, which is
yeah,
great. I'd never done before. You kind of choose the actor, then write the script.
yeah, exactly. That's pretty cool. And
Yeah.
what about the atmosphere, the beach house, the like where did like I guess you call what do you call it, a lake house or a beach house? Where did you film that?
Yeah, well, the house is this sort of amazing house, about an hour north of up the Hudson from New York. And it was built, I believe, around the beginning of the 20th century. And it was at one stage a kind of a speakeasy during Prohibition
Yeah.
times.
Okay.
Apparently, Cary Grant used to go up there and drink martinis with various other celebrities illegally. And there was a jazz band that used to play there. But it's literally this house, which is stone, is perched above this river, and it's a tributary of the Hudson. And what was great about it is that even though it's near a town, from this house overlooking the river, you kind of can't see anything. You could be in the middle of the wilderness, particularly in the middle of winter when it's covered in snow.
Yeah.
Um, so it's just got this incredible atmosphere.
I find it interesting that you're like it's usually kind of how a lot of great films get made where like you're an outsider within the setting of this film, right? So you're
Yeah,
like
yeah,
you're
yeah.
not from this environment, you're not from the States, obviously you're not from kind of what Western or kind of like upper New York, I guess. And
No, no, not at all. No, I
so
mean, I guess, yeah, it was yeah, I was an outsider. I guess I had a bit of an outsider's eye, but
yeah,
yeah,
because you see a lot of great
yeah,
film. Just top of my head, like Peter Ravanovich, and like he did that movie in Texas, and then like Schlesinger did Midnight Cowboy, and he was like this Brit, and he like
yeah,
he just found the essence of New York because he
yeah,
was
yeah,
you know what I mean. It's sort of like how you're finding in this film, right? Where you're like the way because you shot the film too, right? You DP'd
yeah,
it and also directed it as
yeah,
well,
yeah.
right?
Yes, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I also love, there's a Peter Weir film called Witness,
yeah,
just set amongst the Amish, which is a great
yeah, yeah. With
Harrison
Harrison
Ford's in
Ford,
it.
right? Yeah,
Yeah,
back in the '80s.
yeah,
Yeah, he
which is
was
a
Australian, right? Yeah,
that's right.
yeah.
Yeah, great director. And his eye in that film is just extraordinary.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Like, yeah, because it's like that kind of like you're just like so you just yeah, I guess you just kind of showed up a couple weeks before filming and met the actors and shot it.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, it was great. I mean, it was just great to be able to turn something around really fast. And to just do it with some friends and just have fun doing it. Um, and obviously, it would have been great to have a huge crew, but in many ways, it was really liberating just to be able to be fast and free and kind of, experimental in a way, to be able to change things fast and to move
Yeah,
instinctively.
yeah, and it seems like you're like so you and Max did like costumes and other aspects of the film, and you guys kind of worked together in a lot of ways.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. Yeah, she did the costumes, she did the soundtrack. She did the sound recording. She held the boom when necessary,
Yeah,
and yeah, that was pretty much it. That was the crew.
that's amazing. And so when did you edit it? Did you go back to Australia and edit the film?
Yeah, yeah. I edited in Sydney, and I had a friend who graded it, and another friend who did the mix.
The sound design?
But everything else we did ourselves.
Yeah, that's great. And you guys, are you guys? I'm assuming you guys are going to make more films like this.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. We might spend a bit more time writing next time, but yeah, it's yeah. Look, it was just really fun. It was just a really fun experience being in this beautiful place, this amazing atmosphere, and being able to pull something together really fast was really, liberating and exciting.
Yeah, you guys should keep doing it.
Oh, we will for sure,
Yeah.
definitely. We've got a few things cooking at the moment.
Are you still making
I mean,
documentaries?
yeah, I recently completed a documentary in a place called Timor-Leste or East Timor, which is a another island to the north of Australia that's an independent country but used to be part of Indonesia. And they had a very violent period of occupation for about 25 years by the Indonesians. And I've made several documentaries there over the years. And the most recent one was called The Spirits of Tassie Tolu. And it's about pretty much a haunted lake. It's about a lake where many people were massacred, that local people believe is inhabited by spirits. And it's really about those people and the threat of a giant hotel resort being built over this land and the negotiations that happen between the local people who want to protect the spirits and the developers and the government who are kind of concerned about putting a hotel development on the site of a massacre.
So you
And that,
make
I guess it,
yeah, you get to make a lot
sorry.
of like you make a lot of similar films like this, right? Like kind of like about history and about like kind of like the context of like present time with the history. It seems like
I mean, I think that's something probably that really fascinates me. That notion of the way in which, the history somehow leaves a mark on the present. It's like an echo, or it's a stain
yeah,
or a scar, and how, quite often we try to cover it up or hide it, but it keeps coming back in
yeah.
various ways.
That's really interesting. That's kind of fascinating because you wrote so you did a film called a 6 part series called Devil's Island, I guess Devil Island it
Yeah,
is, right?
yeah, yeah.
That's about Tasmania.
Well, funnily enough, talking about islands, that's an island off an island off an island. So there's an island off the coast of Tasmania called Maria Island, which was another
Okay.
prison, uh, another prison colony.
I got to
But
dig
it's
up the
also,
Australian map and see this where this is.
oh
But
yeah,
go
yeah, no, you've got to check it out. But it's
ahead.
also very, very it's mainly wilderness, like untouched wilderness. Very, very beautiful. It's a kind of a Jurassic Park type island. And over the years, various government agencies dumped all the endangered animals on this island, including species of geese and kangaroos and wallabies. And the most recent arrival has been the Tasmanian devil, and so it's become a bit of a sanctuary for Tasmanian devils. So it was an experiment to see whether the Tasmanian devils would eat all the other animals on the island. But just briefly, a disturbing but fascinating aspect of the Tasmanian devils is they've contracted a transmissible cancer, which is wiping them out. So there are all these programs to try and protect them from this cancer. So they bite each other and transmit this cancer. It's only one of very few examples of a transmissible cancer in nature. So there's this big program to save the devils from extinction. So they
Oh
put them on
wow!
this offshore island to try and protect them from this sort of virus that's killing them all.
And where can we watch this film? Can we watch it anywhere?
Yeah, it's on Apple. You can download it from Apple.
Yeah, I want to watch it.
Yeah. Devil Island. It's
Yeah,
a six-part series. Yeah.
it's fascinating. Like it really is. It's just in something like you're like yeah, you're showing the past and present at the same time. I guess with these films.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, please have a look at it. It's quite fascinating.
Yeah, and you've like and then you've like obviously done like you work for a company and they just hire you freelance to like make films. Like how does it work?
Well, I mean, I've done a variety of things. I've sometimes worked for bigger production companies. I've made things with my own production co company, excuse me.
Yeah.
At one stage, I worked for the Australian Broadcasting Commission as a director producer. So I made films for the broadcaster.
Mhm.
And currently, I actually lecture at University of Sydney. I run a Masters of Film and Screen Arts program.
Oh wow.
So I'm now become a kind of academic teacher, but I still make films. Um, yeah, around, well, it's part of my job to kind of continue making
Gotcha.
films in a way.
So how does that? How do you like that? How do you like being a professor?
I love it. I love it. I really enjoy the students I have. I also have PhD students who are filmmakers, so that's really fun. They're making kind of often documentaries or dramas or experimental films.
Yeah.
So it's really great just to sort of, work with students from all over the world. We have a lot of foreign students too, or international students. So it's great to get perspectives of students from, China and India and Singapore and Malaysia and
Yeah.
Saudi Arabia. It's really great to tap into those different cultures and the ideas that come out of cultures quite different from my own. So I find it very satisfying.
I've been fortunate enough. I talked to a lot of young filmmakers from Australia, like some from Adelaide, Perth,
Oh
and
yeah,
obviously
yeah.
Sydney, Canberra. Yeah, but like a few really good films from Adelaide, like dance films from Adelaide. Like so,
Oh yeah,
there's
yeah.
a lot of like young filmmakers, but there's rich history, I guess, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, Adelaide's a very
Like
interesting
yeah,
city. It's a very cultured city. They've got great theatre festivals there. Yeah,
yeah.
it's a very interesting and cultured place for a
Which
small
makes
city.
sense why they're making dance films there, right? So yeah,
Yeah,
that makes sense. Yeah,
yeah.
nothing from Tasmania though.
All right. Mate, it's quite a
Yeah.
small population, Tasmania. It's only about 500,000
How
people
do you
live
get
there.
there? Do you have to take a
You can
flight? Is there a bridge, or do you have to take a flight?
No, no, it's way too far. There's Bass Strait, which is one of the most dangerous seaways in the world between southern Australia and Tasmania. So you've really got to get a giant ferry or
Yeah.
fly there. The ferry's great fun. It's worth getting the ferry.
Okay. You get it. You drive your car onto it. I'm assuming.
Well, when I was making Devil Island, we used to just take a huge Land Cruiser with a trailer on it onto the ferry. We used to drive it onto the ferry and take it down there because we were taking down heaps of equipment every time we went down. So
Yeah.
yeah, we'd take the ferry over with them with a car full of stuff, filmmaking stuff, cameras and all sorts of
Yeah.
things. So. Yeah, yeah, it can be a pretty rough trip too over Bass Strait,
Yeah. So
but it's a very
what's your
sorry, go
plan
on.
for making another film? Do you have something like? I know. Is there something concrete that you're going to do with Max?
Uh, yeah, we've got a few ideas. We've got a short animation we're interested
Oh
in
wow.
doing,
Okay.
and I'm working on a feature project. I'm also working on a series, TV series, drama series with a friend. Um, So there's a few things in the works. So, I'm just trying to get perhaps some shorter projects out and about, finished quicker, and then some more bigger long-term projects that
And you're
make,
and you're setting
yeah,
Crowded River out to the festival circuit, out to like getting
yeah,
some, yeah.
yeah. Doing the
Is it shown
film
in New York yet?
freeway thing. What's that?
Is it shown in New York yet?
It's shown at Nyack, which is north of New York, which is
Okay.
sort of, yeah. So, yeah, there's a few potential festivals in New York itself that I've applied for. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Well, it seems like you have a great collaboration happening. It's when you look at your credits, it looks like a professional. Well, it is a professional film, but meaning that I'm at the
Yeah.
credits. I'm like, I was trying to find the DP. I'm like, oh, I wonder who shot this film, and it was like,
Ah.
oh, I guess you shot the film.
That's
And it was
right.
like, who's the costume?
Yeah,
And I guess Max was the costume. It was like,
pretty much.
yeah,
Yeah. It was a two-person crew.
yeah. No, it's great. And then someone who's got like this professional kind of resume, it's great that you can just kind of like scale back and kind of you can
Mm.
do it all on your not everything yourself, but you can do a lot of it on your own, I guess, right?
Yeah, that's right. Well, that's the sort of advantage of having been around for a while and having to do everything yourself at various stages.
Yeah. Do you like shooting? Like, do you like
I
using?
love it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I really love shooting. Yeah. Yeah. It's a pleasure. And in some ways, because I've worked in a lot of documentaries where you just don't know what's going to happen. You're working with non-actors, or you're working with people, you can't repeat things.
Yeah.
It's fun to be able to have actors who'll do multiple takes and and do them well and
Yeah.
refine their performance. So that's really fun after years making docos.
Yeah. And we're like, yeah, they're you can't really do that.
No, 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 you're not supposed to. Can
Yeah, I'm
you do
sure
that
it's
again,
happened
please?
once or twice, but I'm just
Yeah.
saying it's like, yeah,
Certainly not with animals.
yeah. Oh, there you go. Right. So, yeah, and
Yeah.
yeah, the dam's great. It's a great film as well, and like, yeah, it's like I can't wait to see what you do next.
Yeah. Thank you, Matthew.
I want to check out. I'm going to check out your film. I'm on Apple. I'm going to go on Apple right now
Yeah,
and check
great.
it down. And because I just that stuff fascinates me, right? Because it's like nobody talks about like this, and especially in
Uh,
Australia, where it's got such an interesting history, right? Where
yeah.
it was taken over by the Brits. Well, they took over half the world, right? But it's like bringing the criminals, like you know what I mean? It's just so fascinating. Like the way you talk about Tasmania Island, like it's just so interesting. Like it's just like on so many ways, right? Even like bringing the devil into that island you're talking about, like just eating up other animals,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. No, it's you've got to check it out. It's an amazing place, Tasmania.
Yeah. Yeah, we should know more about this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
All right, man. Well, congratulations. I appreciate your time. And what time is it there right now? It's 10 p.m. where I am.
It's 12:36 in the afternoon
Okay,
of
so it's the
Monday,
next
the
day.
11th.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you're 14 hours ahead, right? So
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
all right.
Thanks,
Well,
Matthew.
let's talk again soon. And I can't wait to see your next film.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks a lot. Have a great day or evening.